Hello and welcome again to Viper Bites. And this NFL offseason, it is getting crazier and crazier each and every week. So, yes, we have once again an emergency podcast to break some news going on here right now. And once again, the Buffalo Bills are at it. They're like the new Los Angeles Rams. It doesn't matter what the cap is, they don't care. Earlier in this offseason, one of their biggest needs was the edge defending position. They went out there and got one of the best edge rushers of all time, Von Miller. You know what? It's more of a luxury item for a team like the Buffalo Bills because they have so many good pieces there. They're such a good team already. Now they retain one of the most important pieces in this offense for the foreseeable future. Yes, the Bills signed wide receiver Stefon Diggs to a 4-year, $96 million extension, plus incentives that could push this to $104 million. That should keep Stefon Diggs in Buffalo for the next 6 years or so and retire as a member of the Bills Mafia. Now, this deal, it includes $70 million in guaranteed money. And Stefon Diggs, he will get $21.5 million, the signing bonus right off the hop. And more importantly, that 2022 cap, it kind of goes down if you believe in that kind of thing. I mean, the cap, that is. This continues what we've seen all offseason right now, and it is top wide receivers getting paid and securing that bag, and more importantly, securing that guaranteed money. The Miami Dolphins wide receiver Tyreek Hill, he received $72.2 million guaranteed, while the Raiders, they gave Davante Adams $65 million guaranteed. Now we look at some of the highest average paid wide receivers in the league. We've got Tyreek Hill at $30 million, Davante Adams at $28 million, DeAndre Hopkins, $27.25, and Stefon Diggs slides in there at $26 million, followed by, obviously, DJ Moore, $20.6. Hey, 4 of these guys got brand new contracts here. So the only one who hasn't got that new contract is DeAndre Hopkins. Now, it's safe to say, if you're paying attention, Stefon Diggs, he doesn't need those free DoubleTree cookies, but I'll tell you what, I can't blame a guy for going out there and wanting them, putting on social media, because those cookies, they have that little bit of an oven right underneath the front desk there. Fantastic little warm chocolate chip. Anyway, Stefon Diggs, let's go back to his draft season to see where he's come, where that journey has taken him. He was the 19th wide receiver selected in the 2015 draft. You want to hear some names that came ahead of Stefon Diggs? Because I'll tell you what, none of them are in the league anymore. And some of these guys we were pretty high on for fantasy once upon a time. Names like Devin Smith, Darrell Green Beckham, he's in there, Jalen Strong, Sammy Coates, Justin Hardy, Vince Mail, DeAndre Smelter, Rashad Green. These are all guys that were selected in 2015 ahead of Stefon Diggs. Now, earlier in this offseason, Stefon's brother Trevon, he kind of hinted at how nice it would be to play with his brother in Dallas. Stefon's response, and I'm paraphrasing here, sorry, little brother, I'm about to get paid. I know they were talking about that extension in Buffalo. Things may or may not have got going. But hey, at the end of the day, Josh Allen, he loves himself some Stefon Diggs. And Stefon Diggs, he loves himself some Josh Allen. Now, any reunion between the Diggs brothers, it's going to have to take place in Buffalo, as one Diggs has got paid and the other, he's got a contract coming up in 2024 where he becomes an unrestricted free agent. And we know, history speaking here, the Dallas Cowboys, they don't tend to sign their DBs to big contracts after they expire. So that's something to keep an eye on for 2024, maybe before. Who knows how it all breaks down. Now, back in March of 2020, the Bills acquired Stefon Diggs via trade from the Minnesota Vikings, and the Vikings in return got a first-round pick, which turned out to be Justin Jefferson, a 5th and a 7th, and then the following year, in 2021, they got a 4th-round pick out of it, which they turned into, at that time, that turned into Janarius Robinson. So if we look at how these picks all played out, you could add Janarius Robinson to Justin Jefferson. It's a couple of other players that the Vikings got in return were Cameron Bunham, the cornerback, defensive end Kenny Wilkes, and tight end Zach Davidson. Now, a lot of us people kind of point out that, hey, at the time, you look at this in hindsight, Justin Jefferson for Stefon Diggs. Stefon Diggs got paid. Justin Jefferson, he is going to get paid. There's no doubt about it. And there's no way that the Minnesota Vikings saw Justin Jefferson sliding to them. Heck, you could see them laughing when the Eagles took Jalen Reagor, but that's for another show, another day. When we look at how this trade has paid dividends for both franchises, yes, the Vikings, they got Justin Jefferson, who has got 196 receptions, 3,016 receiving yards, 17 touchdowns since he entered the league. Diggs, he's been pretty good too. 230 receptions, 2,760 yards, 18 touchdowns since that trade. He's a two-time Pro Bowler, and he also made the first team All-Pro over those last 2 seasons. Now, his 2020 season included career and league highs in receptions with 127, yards with 1,535. He also had 8 touchdowns. Well, in 2021, he saw his career high with 10 touchdowns come to fruition there. So furthermore, since the trade, Diggs has ranked in the top 10 in the NFL in receptions, receiving yards, receiving touchdowns. The only players with more receptions than Stefon Diggs in this time frame here since the start of 2022 are Davante Adams and Cooper Kupp. Not bad company. So let's look at Diggs' career. 7 seasons, he's produced 595 receptions, 7,383 yards, 48 touchdowns. His worst statistical season came as a rookie in Minnesota, where he posted 52 catches, 720 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Not a bad career so far. Since Diggs has arrived in Buffalo, the Bills have become Super Bowl favorites. There's no doubt in my mind that the way we've seen Josh Allen take off the last couple of seasons is a direct correlation to Stefon Diggs being there. Outside of being Super Bowl favorites, they've lost to the Chiefs in 2020 in that AFC Championship. They lost to them in the division round in 2021. Once again, that happened in overtime. We know what's happened since that overtime game as far as the rules are going, so we won't get into that. But hey, they're a better team today than what the Chiefs are today. I'll put it that way, at least in my opinion here. When we look at the leaders in receiving yards since 2017, Tyreek Hill leads the way, 7,091 yards. Davante Adams, 6,716 yards. Stefon Diggs, 6,423. All 3 of these names on this list had some pretty good quarterbacks throwing the ball. Mahomes to Hill, Rodgers to Adams, Allen to Diggs. Only Diggs and Allen are running it back in 2022. Now, most receiving yards versus single coverage since 2019. You got Stefon Diggs leading the way with 2,416 yards, followed by Davante Adams' 2,219, and Mike Evans has 2,143 yards since 2019 against that single coverage. Okay, you've heard what I've already said. Let's look at a DB, how they rank guys. One of the best DBs in the league right now, an all-pro DB, Jalen Ramsey. He went out there and he listed his top 5-ish wide receivers in the league. 1A, 1B, Davante Adams, Tyreek Hill. 1C, Deebo Samuel. His number 4 receiver was Odell Beckham Jr. And his number 5A, 5B, Cooper Kupp and Stefon Diggs. So you know there is respect for Stefon Diggs out there amongst his peers. Unsure what the draft will bring, as the Bills have decided to invest in that edge position in the last few years. It has not gone the way they wanted. We've talked about Boogie Basham in there. We talked about AJ Espinosa. So they know they had to go out there and they got themselves a Von Miller. As for what this does for the Bills in the draft, this gives them the ability to take the best player available. They don't have to force anything now. They know they've got themselves Stefon Diggs secured right now. Behind Stefon Diggs, you watch them let Cole Beasley go. Emmanuel Sanders is probably not returning this year, but you do have both Gabriel Davis and Isaiah McKenzie. They're coming back, and the Bills did go out there and sign Jamison Crowder. Hence the reason I don't think the Bills are going to feel forced to go out there and draft a wide receiver in this year's draft. They'll probably grab one probably in the later rounds, or if one drops to them, don't be surprised if they step up there and grab one. Also, at the tight end position, they added O.J. Howard to Dawson Knox. Dawson Knox was a guy who kind of came out of nowhere last year to kind of make a big difference in the tight end position. Now they added an athletic freak in O.J. Howard, who just hasn't been able to put it together since joining the National Football League there with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So the Bills are one of only 3 teams to have 2 wide receivers finish 2021 season with a PFF grade over 80. That was Gabriel Davis, 81.5, Stefon Diggs, 81. And again, that's per PFF. Some people put some thought into PFF grades. Some people don't care. It doesn't really matter what you think. Now, what I do care about, and this is probably the most important part, I was watching Good Morning Football there when Emmanuel Sanders came on, and he was talking about that love affair between Josh Allen and Stefon Diggs and how that relationship is and how strong it is. Basically, he said, and I quote here, when I go to Josh's locker, Josh has a shrine of Stefon Diggs. Then you go to Diggs' locker, and he has a shrine dedicated to Josh Allen. These are 2 guys that know where their bread is buttered. They know they are one and the same when it comes to offense on that Bills field. Now, Josh Allen, he isn't the only one who loves Stefon Diggs. Sean McDermott there, his Christmas card has his entire family and his dog wearing Stefon Diggs jerseys, and this is the card he hands out to all his friends and family and apparently his players. Now, when we look at this deal, The Bills made it happen for a 28-year-old wide receiver. Diggs is the same age as Cooper Kupp. He's the same age as Tyreek Hill. He's a year younger than both DeAndre Hopkins and Davante Adams. Now, there's two trains of thought here. Kansas City, they decided they couldn't afford Tyreek Hill moving forward. Meanwhile, the Bills, hey, we want to keep everything happy. We want to run it back in 2022. We're looking to win now, where the Chiefs are looking to reload in the future. So this is the best opportunity for the Bills to get over that hump, to get over the Chiefs when it comes to the playoffs, as the Chiefs have knocked them out the last 2 seasons. The time is now for Buffalo. The time is now for Bills Mafia. The Bills will be looking to win the Super Bowl this year as the Chiefs look to reload. Based on those draft picks, and we know those draft picks that the Chiefs have, they're 50-50 at best. So right now, I really like the Bills' chances here. But hey, that AFC is absolutely loaded with teams. Now, there's 12 teams in that AFC that can all compete for a chance to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl. Make sure to head over to fantasypoints.com, enter promo code Vipers22, and you will get 10% off your Fantasy Points subscription today. And when news breaks, when trades happen, we will be there. So make sure to turn those notifications on and be ready for it to break out right here on the Vipers Network.